Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Isabel and this is my library. In today's video, I will be doing a complete flip through of my 2025 reading journal. Well, my friends, the time has come. I honestly have been putting off this video for a little bit simply because it made me kind of sad to know that my 2025 reading journal was coming to an end. And a lot of you who have been following my channel have seen my 2026 reading journal and all of the updates I've done and how that one is looking. But I've been waiting off on doing one last flip through, adding a couple more stickers and kind of, putting an end to my 2025 reading journal. So if you're new to my channel, I'm so happy that you are here, and I have plenty of bookish content, stationery content, reading journal content, commonplace notebook content, just a lot of the things that make me happy, and they might be things that you are into as well. So please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. And yeah, let's get started. So this is the last time I'm going to flip you through my 2025 reading journal. I'm going to walk you through all the challenges. I have made a lot of changes. We are into the first week of February as of the filming of this video. So I am well into my new journal. I have made some adaptations and things that I have changed for this new journal, and I will kind of walk you through those. And at the ending, I'll go ahead and do a quick flip through of my 2026 book, just so you can see it in case you're new to my channel and you haven't seen it before. So first, here is the index of all the bookish things, and I really like how this came out. I will be working on the index pages of my new reading journal. I have not done that yet. I usually wait until I have a couple months in so I can start working on the index and I know exactly where everything is going to land. Next, we have the 2025 books that I read, and here I list the title of the book, the author name, and the rating, the star rating. I did read a total of 100 books in 2025, so this is reflective of that. Next is my Goodreads challenge for 2025. So I always have a Goodreads challenge of 80. That's how much I have set my challenge to for the last couple years, but I do allow myself more room. I draw as many boxes as I can kind of fit with my key here. And this year I was able to fit 117. I only got to 100, so it still gave me room in case I did have more reading that I did that year. And each of the books obviously is in the order I read them in for my Goodreads challenge. But what I mostly like about this is that it shows me this color key of what I read the most, what kind of genres I was reading the most. So by just looking at this, I see a lot of this pink. So I did read a lot of horror in 2025. I also see a lot of purple. So I did read a lot of thriller. And this is kind of normal for me and my channel. That's mostly what I read, with some sprinkling of other things like fantasy or sci-fi or middle grade or general fiction or poetry anthologies. So there's a nice sprinkling of things there, but I do love this and I did keep this for my 2026 reading journal. So these were the 25 and 25 that I wanted to read. I did have 18 books left over, and I do carry all of these into my next reading journal. So you will see that at the ending when I flip through that one. I don't just forget about the books. I make sure that I continue making plans to read them. So there were 18 books left over at the ending of 2025. Here is my second chance to read 24 and 24. I started the year with 13 books and I ended it with 9, which is pretty good. We're making a dent. Then here were my Third Time's a Charm books, 15 books left over from 2023 list. And I ended up with 13 of those for 2023. Next, we have my alphabet challenge or my ABC challenge. I have experimented with different lengths of pages for this. I've done like 4 spreads, Then this year I did 2. I felt like I was a little bit too cluttered this year, so I did expand on that for my 2026 book. Here's my lovely shelfie, which I'm so happy with. And this is basically a visual of every single book that I read this year, the titles, and I kind of try to coordinate the color according to the color of the cover for the most part. And these are all the books I read, and they look so nice on my shelves. I was scared that I was going to be running out of space, so I did add more room in my 26 journal. This was my buzzword challenge for 2025. I was pretty successful. There were a couple things that I was not able to get to, but I feel like I did okay with the buzzword. I feel like I did really well with the buzzword cover challenge though. So I'm very happy with the way that this came out. I was able to do 2 books for each of the categories for the most part. And that's how I was able to kind of showcase all the little covers for the buzzword challenge. This was my TBR book recommends. I do subscribe to this service, which is basically a recommendation service where I believe they do it 3 times a year or 4 times a year. I'm not sure. They recommend me 3 books that they think I will enjoy. And I really love this service. I find out about so many great books. I started well reading the first set of books. I read all 3 of them, but then I lost my momentum and didn't really continue reading them. But I plan to fix that for 2026. This is my Read the Rainbow Challenge, where I try to read different books that have different colors on their covers, and I was able to very quickly fulfill this. It was a lot of fun. This is one of those challenges that's very easy to complete. So if you're searching for challenges, but you don't want a lot of pressure on your TBR, I do recommend the Read the Rainbow Challenge. It's something that kind of gets done organically on its own, and it is a lot of fun. So this is the TBR jar for 2025, and I did read 2 of the books that I picked from that. I do want to revamp my TBR jar challenge for 2026 now. I haven't really done anything with it just yet, but I have a couple ideas of how I want to make that better. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done. I think what I kind of want to do is connect it to some reading vlogs. So what I might do is maybe once a month or once every other month, I'll go ahead and pick from my TBR jar and do a vlog. So next we have the Book Troop Book Club. And I know this year, Gabby from Gabby Reads, she's the one that puts together this book club. So I know she has changed it for this upcoming year. It's no longer 12 selections, but 4. And it's going to be a quarterly book club or seasonal book club. And I have added it to my 2026 book in just a quarter of a page instead of a full spread. Next, we have the Literally Dead Book Club. And that is Kayla's book club that she runs from Kayla from Books and Lala. And I did read a couple of them. I really didn't get to read more of them, but I will do better. These are all books that are on my TBR that I really want to get to this year. This was my Read Christie challenge for 2025. I also neglected this one a little bit, but I am starting off strong with my 2026 Read Christie challenge, so I can already feel that it will be more successful. And, you know, I always get asked those questions about participating in so many book clubs or doing so many reading challenges. I don't really feel like if I didn't complete all of it, it was a failure. I like to think that I read, 3 or 4 more Christies in 2025 than I would have had I not participated in this. So that's kind of how I like to see it. All of these things, guys, make reading fun for me, and that's why it's always a good day when I'm able to read things that I normally wouldn't have read, or I'm able to accomplish parts of certain goals. So my TBR tarot card game, I did read 3 for this, although I did use up a lot of space. What I'm changing for 2026 is I'm not giving things like full spreads anymore. I am combining a lot of these. So maybe TBR, I haven't done this page yet, but I think the TBR tarot card game maybe will only get one page, you know, instead of a full spread. So I think I'm going to do that. Haven't done that one yet. The blurb game was very successful. I did have to continue this later on. Let me see if I can find you that page, because it just did not fit, believe it or not, on here. So this was the first spread, and then this was the second spread for the blurb game. I'm doing it a little bit differently in 2026. I'm not using like these big stickers. I'm kind of just writing out the titles and drawing arrows to send me where I need to be. If you're curious about any of these challenges and all of that, I do have information on each of these as I'm designing them for my 2026 journal. So you can refer to those videos for full explanations on how each of these challenges work. I also did change up the way I did this. This is my publication year. And I noticed that although I did want to read from a lot of these years, I don't reach for them enough to merit like all of this space for these random years. So I kind of set it up in decades in the 2026 one. You'll see it now in a little bit, but I am still very happy with the way that this looked, although I did have to add a lot of space here at the bottom for new releases, and that's currently what it's looking like. My scavenger hunt game, I started this but never really completed it. I think I'm not going to do an entire spread for the scavenger hunt. I think every time I do a scavenger hunt event, it will be tied to vlogs, and then I will just go ahead and include it as a one-page reflection on that vlog. But I don't think I'm going to dedicate a whole spread to that in this upcoming year. Same thing with the bookish card game. I did not get to read The Lying Game, although I did add it to my list, and I will be reading it this year. I didn't really get to read it, so I feel like it was a little bit premature to do an entire spread for it, so I am limiting spread sizes for these things. Same thing with all my book clubs. I've kind of divided them up. This is my Read with Jenna book club, which I'm happy I participated in. I did discover This Is a Love Story, which was such a beautiful book that came into my radar because of the Jenna book club. So I really enjoyed that. This year in January, I've already read the January selection for 2026 Jenna's book club, and I absolutely loved it. So it was another 5-star for me. So it definitely worked out well. Reese's book club, there were not a lot of titles this year that I was interested in, unfortunately. The ones that I did DNF, The 3 Lives of Kate K. It wasn't really for me, didn't like the writing style. So I have combined this again into smaller parts so that I can still read along with the book club, but I anticipate not wanting to read most of the selections or many of the selections, so I can still document those but not dedicate full spreads for them. Here's my Kindle Unlimited TBR. These are all the things on my TBR for Kindle Unlimited that I have read and the ones that are still on my list. I have read a couple of them already though, now in 2026, like The Crash. So this is just a place for me to store my ideas for Kindle Unlimited reads that come into my radar. The Scratch Off card game, same thing. This is for the anticipated releases, and I'm not really including a version of this in my 2026 journal simply because I was pre-ordering a lot of books and I wasn't getting to them, and I wanted to prioritize reading a lot of the things on my shelves. So, you know, this is something that I've kind of reworked or revamped the way that I'm doing this as well. And that goes to show you guys, I'm going to just stop there to tell you that a lot of you ask me, what's the best way of doing this or that? And I've been doing reading journals for so long. And every single time that I do it, I learn more and I edit a lot of the things that I do, and I'm constantly changing it to fulfill my reading needs for that year. So it's perfectly fine to have things in one reading journal that you don't continue doing in your next couple of reading journals, because we're constantly changing as readers, right? And our time, our availability, our, so many factors come into play with how much time we have to read or decorate or journal. So yeah, that's basically a learning experience, I think, for all of us. We find the things that end up working for us and the things that don't. So this was my page for the Midnight Society book club. This is the page for my bestie book club with my best friend Angela. So these were all the books we were able to read. So we read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books last year together in our book club. We currently are reading The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle in 2026. We're starting our year with this book since we did not get to finish it. But it was a very productive book club for my best friend and I. We had a lot of books that we loved. Like, this was a 5-star for me, 5-star for me, 5-star for me. This was a 4-star. This was a 4-star. So I think it was pretty good. This is a 4.5-star. So the only real duds for me were Word Hunter with 2.5 and Watermoon with 3. But everything else was books that we really ended up loving. So hopefully this upcoming year, we end up loving them just as much. This is my Read Around the World challenge. This was my first year doing this challenge, and I had a good time with it, but I'm not continuing this challenge. I felt that it was difficult for many reasons. First, I found that a lot of the books took place in the same places. I found that a lot of the books didn't say where they took place, so that was a little challenging. And so, yeah, I felt like it was not worth the space on my journal. For next year, though, and I mean for 2027, I think I want to do more of reading diversely based on authors and not really settings. So where the authors are from, I think that's something that I want to tackle in 2027. And if you do that, let me know how it's worked out for you. And if that has worked out better than reading this by the settings of where the books are taking place. Then we have all of the 5-star reads that I had this year. Only one of them was on this page. So I do like including 2 spreads for this, although there is a little bit of empty space here because I'm always optimistic that I'm going to have a lot of 5 stars. I know this is probably a lot. I know a lot of people don't give out 5 stars as maybe freely as I do, but these were all 5-star books for me, and I don't think it's too bad, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 and 12, 24, 25. So out of the 100 books I read, 25 of those were 5 stars. I think that's pretty good. And I'm truly like, I look at all these books and I'm like, yeah, that was a favorite. Yeah, that was a favorite. Yeah, that was a favorite. Like, these were all favorites for me. Like, I really, really enjoyed them. So I'm happy. I'm happy. And looking back at it, it's still books that I think about and that I recommend a lot on my channel. So I'm pretty happy with the amount of 5 stars I had this year in 2025. This was the Tackle Your TBR. This was so much fun to do, guys. I did fill most of it in fairly quickly, though, so I didn't get to document a lot on here, but it was great. This was a fun little printable that I got from Etsy, and I enjoyed it. I think it was a lot of fun. These were my monthly favorites, so I had to pick a monthly favorite each of the months, and then it was represented here. That yielded everything for my 2025 favorite of the year. So that's where we kind of stand right now. And my favorite book was obviously You Are Fatally Invited. These were my top 10 books of 2025. I do have 2 little book covers that I have left over. I need to put The Nightingale here, and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow here, and I think this one goes in the previous page. So for those of you who are new to my channel and you're looking at my little book covers, I have plenty of videos where I show you how to print these. I print them along with you. So if you are interested, just make sure you click on any of my other videos and you should be able to see me working on these and printing them. And I walk you through that process. I do use my Canon Ivy for that. Let me go ahead and get a few things that I'm going to be needing. Need my eraser. So I do print everything on my Canon Ivy and it's a lot of fun. Everything comes out great. I do use the collage that's 4x4. Oh, this is not a black pen. Okay. Is this not a black pen either? Okay. Okay, so there was my December that I had to put on there. And then my nightingale goes here. And tomorrow. I do have a video up on my channel that I filmed at the ending of 2025 where I talk about all of these books and why they made it to my favorites list. From the 10th place all the way to first place, my favorite books of 2025. And I love these so much. So these were my monthly TBRs. I do play a monthly bingo. And then I do check off everything I read. And so this is each of those months completely filled out. And it's just so fun for me to look at this after the years have passed and I can see how my reading months went and all the things I had on my list that I didn't get to and all the things that I did get to. It's just a lot of fun for me to do my monthly pages. In my 2026 one, I'm also including my stats here because I do include my stats in my wrap-up videos. So I wanted a representation of that in my reading journal. So there we have that. And these are each of the months. Then this was my stats for each of the months, the pages I read, how many books I read, how many were novels or novellas or mangas and graphic novels, my average rating, how many authors were new to me, how many were familiar to me, how many were new releases, Kindle reads, audio reads, tandem or combo reads, and physical reads. This is one of those pages that I think, I haven't done this yet in my 2026 book, but I want to make this a little bit prettier. I feel like it's just like a lot of numbers and stuff like that, but I think I have space for making something nicer. These are some of the challenges I participated in. This was Winterween from 2025. And I did a generic book bingo that I would update monthly. This was another game I played, the Roll Your Read. And I got to read these two books as a part of that. This was another challenge, the thriller challenge with the different tropes. And I did complete this fairly early on. So I was pretty happy about that. These are all thriller tropes. I think I might want to do something like that on my own. Kind of like bingo board in nature with all the tropes. This was my Oprah book club. Again, I have combined all these book clubs in the upcoming 2026 journal. Culpability, did love that. The Good Morning America reads. The Kayla's Besties book club. I have made this much smaller. She only picks about 4 books or maybe 5 in the year. So there's no need for all this space. This was my middle grade March reads. I will be participating in that again this year. Absolutely love middle grade and any excuse that allows me to read middle grade books, either new releases or things from my childhood that I love. So these were my buddy reads from last year. I actually did a lot of them. I started by doing my thumbnail and the book and doing my rating. I quickly ran out of space for that. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of like paste these little covers on there. These were all also buddy reads that I did. So I'm just going to go ahead now and kind of put these on here like this, even though I don't have space for my thumbnails, but I do want to include more of that in the upcoming 2026 journal. I have not done this spread just yet, but I will. And I'm so happy with these buddy reads. So in case you're wondering, buddy reads, because I sometimes get questions about buddy reads as opposed to book club reads. So buddy reads is just when you and a group of friends get together to read a book together, right? Which is what this was. I read these with various people. So The Eyes of the Dragon was a buddy read I did with my husband. The Tenant and The Intruder and All Fours and Culpability I read with Michelle and Dee, who are booktuber friends of mine. And then The Nightingale and the Family Experiment I read with Jackie, who's another booktube friend of mine. So those are pretty much the books that I read. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buddy reads, which I think is great. Different from book club selections that I participated in for friends or for my own book club this year. And yeah, I'm happy with my buddy reads. This is the second page of the blurb game. This was Summerween, so I did hit all of these for that. And there was a lot of these printables for Summerween, so I did do most of them. Then this was for my friend Jen's book club, the Literary Love Book Club. I did read these 2 selections for her book club, Picnic at Hanging Rock and Blood on Her Tongue. And I was a co-host for Picnic at Hanging Rock. So those were some of the reads I participated in. Then I did do the Big Books of Summer, where I documented during this time period the pages of the books I was reading. And if I read anything over maybe 500 pages, it was here. Or maybe it's 400. Now I can't remember. Then this was for the Sell Your Soul Besties Readathon that Kayla put together. And basically it was this really cool thing that she did for her besties, which are her channel members, Kayla from Books and Lala. And she gave us all this data that was really cool. Like if you're a Pisces, these might be books that you love. Or if you're a type 1 Enneagram, these are books that you might love. And so there was a bingo board related to that. And then these were the most mentioned books for people like me and, you know, stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. And I did enjoy that. And I do plan on revisiting a form of that eventually. And that's pretty much everything that I did for my 2025 reading journal, guys. And this is so bittersweet. But you know what? I need to focus on the happy stuff, you know, that it's a full year of documenting everything that I read. I'm proud of myself for following through each month, for updating every single month my reading journal. I've made that a commitment through the past years. Don't feel guilty if you don't, you know, update your reading journal as often as you'd like. I've been doing this for over a decade. So, you know, when I first started, you know, I was not super on it. I didn't update it as often as I should have or wanted to. But over the years, it became part of who I am as a reader, you know. And now, as of the last year that I've been on YouTube, it's also been a source of my content as well, because so many of you love reading journals and want to see someone working on their reading journals and, you know, ask so many questions and tell me that it's inspiring to see me working on mine. So I've enjoyed sharing my reading journal with you guys as well. So whatever your reading journal looked like this year, or if you didn't have one, just note that every year, right, we get better and we improve upon, you know, our reading journal, and that's the fun part. So I decided, if you're just here for my 2025 reading journal, that's pretty much it. I do want to give you a sneak peek in case you are new here of what the 2026 reading journal is looking like. And yeah, I'm just going to do like a little flip through of my 2026 reading journal. And I'm not really going to go into detail, so I'm going to just like put a little music and let you watch me flip through my new one. If you're interested at all in how I have been working on this one, there's about 15 or 16 videos out there, all numbered as 2026 reading journal setup, where I walk you through all of this. So I'm going to go ahead now and do my little flip through of this, and I'll come back to wrap up this video. All right, guys, so that is pretty much a very quick flip through of how my 2026 reading journal is looking. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you loved looking one last time at my 2025 reading journal and saying goodbye to it and seeing what's to come with my 2026 reading journal. Please let me know in the comments down below. Are you working on a 2026 reading journal? Are you interested in starting? It's not too late, okay? So a lot of you ask me, it's, you know, January already. You've been working on your 2026 one since November, October. Is it too late to start? And the answer is no. You can start whenever you want. And make it fun. Let it help you with your reading. Let it be a source of you jotting down your thoughts. And just have fun with it, guys. And if it's something that interests you, try it out. Try it out. And you don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be super talented. with the arts or creativity, just see what others of us are doing and make that your own, and go ahead and dive in and start if it's something that you've always wanted to do. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. Turn on those notifications so that you know when I'm uploading new content for you. And yeah, let's have some conversations in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate every single one of you, and I look forward to talking to you in my next video. Bye.